Today we will discuss about I/O interface. I/O interface is nothing but input output interface. The input output devices are very important which are connected to the processor. So, before discussing the interfacing, we will discuss about the I/O processor, that is recap on the microprocessor, input output interface and I/O instructions. This is a simple system structure which will define how the processor and I/O devices are connected. In microprocessor, in the system we are using the microprocessor. This is the I/O device which is input output device we are connecting for the interfacing. Then memory. Memory is important element which is used to store the data. What are the types of memory? Memory is RAM and ROM, random access memory, which is a read write memory. Both read and write operations can be performed. Some types static RAM and dynamic RAMs also available. ROM is read only memory which is only for read operations. Mostly it is used for the driver operations. Input device, we know that the mouse, keyboard and scanner all are the input devices which is used to give the input. The processor get the input from the external device. Output device are printer and monitor. Whatever the data in the processor, it will be displayed on the screen, or if you want to take the hard copy, you can use the printer. So, before discussing the I/O interface, just we will review the microprocessor. Microprocessor is a central processing unit which includes the arithmetic logical unit, time and control unit for synchronizing and the registers. AL is mainly used for the arithmetic and logical operations. Microprocessor can also used for the read and write operations. The both and read and write operations can be performed with memory and I/O devices. The processor can perform with the memory read write or I/O read write operations. So, to perform the read and write operations, basically two instructions are used, input and output operations. Input for read the data from the external device and output for write the data into the external device. So, whenever we want to interface any one of the I/O devices to the processor, we have to know the feature or configuration of the processor, then only the compatibility will help to interface. Here we are discussing the 8085 microprocessor which have the 16 address lines. So, based on the address lines, we can send the data or we can receive. It is used to specify the location where to send or where to read the data. It has a 16 address lines. Based on the 16 address lines, we can define the capacity of the processor. So, 2 power 16 which is a 64 kilobytes is the maximum capacity of the 8085 microprocessor. It has a 8 data lines which are denoted as D0 to D7, which is used for transmitting the data or receiving the data between the processor and I/O or memory devices. This is a bidirectional device. When we are designing the IC, due to the pin compatibility, the address and data lines AD, that is lower address line, is multiplexed with the data lines. It is usually they are using the AD0 to AD7. There are 3 control signals in the 8085. One is read operation, write operation and to differentiate the I/O and memory. So, the signals WR bar, read bar and I/O memory bar. The bar indicates these are the active low signals. W bar is used for write operations. RD bar is used for the read operation. I/O/memory bar is used to differentiate whether the processor is operated with I/O devices or it operated with the memory device. When the signal is low, it indicates the processor is operating with the memory. When the signal is high, it is operating with the I/O devices. A high represents a plus 5 volts, a logical one. The bar represents active low signal which is a 0 volts. Then it has a ALU and accumulator. These two are the important. Accumulator is one of the special register which is used to perform all arithmetical and logical operations. And also after performing the operations, the results are stored in the accumulator. And especially when the processor want to communicate with the external devices, via the accumulator only it will be interfaced or it will be communicated. ALU is arithmetic and logical unit where addition, subtraction, multiplication and division, these are the arithmetic operations can be performed via in the accumulator in the processor, and the logical operations are AND, OR, exclusive OR and NOT. These 4 operations can be performed in the microprocessor. and it has a special purpose registers. It has 8 general purpose registers which are B, C, D, E, H and L. These are the 8-bit registers which are used for temporarily storing the data during the operations. When you want to store any 16-bit data, then these registers are paired, grouped, then it is called as a register pair. So, BC registers are grouped, then it called as a B register pair. Then DE registers are grouped and it called as a D register pair, and HL registers are called as a HL register pair. These are called as register pair, which is used for the 16-bit operations. Then it has a 8-bit flag register. The flag register is one of the important register. We cannot write the data into the flag register. We can read the data from the flag register. It also called as a status register, which will give the status of the arithmetic and logical operations. After performing the operations, it have some flags which will indicate the status of the operations. It has 5 flags which are 0 flag, carry flag, auxiliary carry flag, sign flag and parity flag. These are the 5 flag registers. The 0 flag is after performing the subtractions. When we are comparing, when the 0 flag is set means the resultant value is 0, otherwise it is non-zero, it have some values. The carry flag is mainly used for addition and subtractions. After performing the addition, we can check whether the carry is occurred or not. If the carry is occurred means the C bit position will be 1, otherwise it is a 0. So, based on that we can perform the further additions. Auxiliary carry is one of the another bit positions which is used to indicate whether the carry is occurred or not only in the BCD operations. So, auxiliary carry only used for the BCD operations. The sign bit position, it represents whether the given or the resultant value is negative or positive. When the value is 1, it represents it is a negative value. When the value is 0, it represents it is a positive value. Parity is used for error checking. During the communications, we can check it is a even parity or odd parity. So, how we are inserting whether the data is in the odd parity or whether in the even parity. When the parity bit position is 0, it represents it is a odd parity. When the bit position is 1, it is represented as a even parity. So, based on that, during receiving sections, they will identify whether error is occurred or not. Whatever the transmitter send with the odd parity, the receiver also expecting in the odd parity. So, the flag registers will give the status of these 5 flags. Then 2 special 16-bit memory pointers are available, which is a stack pointer and program counter. Stack pointer is one of the memory pointer which is used to store the data. It will store and read the data based on the principle of LIFO. LIFO, last in first out. Program counter is used, it is one of the 16-bit memory pointer which is used to maintain or continue the program executions. With the help of program counter only, we are executing the instructions. So, I/O interfacing, the peripheral devices are interfaced with the microprocessor. Peripheral devices are what? It is the input device or output device. Already we have discussed what are the input devices, what are the output devices. The keyboard, mouse can be interfaced to the processor. So, how we are interfacing via the port address? With the help of port address, we are interfacing. The peripheral devices are connected to the processor via the port address. So, how the processor is connected to the I/O devices means via the data lines, which are the bidirectional lines, either we can perform read and write operations. So, the I/O devices. So, the microprocessor can read the data from the peripheral device or it can write the data into the peripheral device. When the processor want to read the data from the peripheral device, they are using the control signal. Microprocessor uses the I/O control signal for input devices and I/O write control signal for the output devices. I/O interfacing is used for transferring the data with the help of 2 instructions. One is in instruction, another one is a out instruction. The in instruction is used for read the data, out instruction is used for write the data. With the help of accumulator only, we are performing the operations, that is why it also called as a special register. What is the length of port address means 8-bit. 8-bit port addresses are used for accessing the data from the peripheral devices. So, maximum 8 bit port addresses means we can use 2 power 8 address lines. So, the capacity of the peripheral devices is 256. So, we are starting from 0 to 255. Its hexa equivalent is 00 to FFH. So, we can use any one of the address from 00 to FFH. So, the address lines only we are using the 8 address lines. Among the 8, either we can use the lower order address or higher order address lines, A0 to A7 or A8 to A15. So, now we will discuss the in instruction. In instruction is used to read the data from the input device. What are the input devices? Keyboard, mouse or scanner. So, what is the instruction format for in the 8085? This is the format in 8 bit port address. So, via the port address the data transfer from the input device to the accumulator. So, this is the 8 bit address line. The content of the port address is transferred to the accumulator. This is a 2 byte instruction. This is a simple example how we are representing the in instruction in 45H. That is, the content of port address is transferred to the accumulator. This is a opcode. For in they are using the DB, 45 is it is a operand. So, the in 45H is a mnemonics. When we are executing the program, we have to convert into the opcode, then only we are executing the program. H in the number represents the hexadecimal. In Intel company, they are using the H to represent the hexadecimal number. For in, this is the opcode. Opcode is nothing but operational code. So, in is one of the input operations, that is why we are using the opcode. Then 45 is the operand. Here the 45 represents the port address, 8 bit port address. Now, we assume 30 is the content of the 45, that is the port address. Port address having some value, that value we have to move to the accumulator. We are not transferring 45 to accumulator, we are transferring the content of the port address into the accumulator. So, the 30 is the content of the 45, then after executing, now the accumulator value is 30. The out instruction has used to write the data into the peripheral devices. Whatever in the processor, it will be transferred to the external device. So, how we are transferring means with the help of the write operations. To perform the write operations, we are using the WR bar is one of the control signal. When the signal is low, then it will transfer the data from accumulator to the peripheral devices. This is the instruction format out 8 bit port address. So, out is a opcode, 8 bit address is the operand. This is a 2 byte instruction. So, by this instruction we are transferring the content of the processor to the output device, which is 8 bit address. So, from the accumulator we are transferring the accumulator. Via the accumulator we are transferring the data from peripheral devices, in example out 38H. So, the content of accumulator which is in the processor is now transferred to the 38 port address. So, among 00 to FFH we can use any one of the address. Here we are selecting the address as 38, D3 is the opcode for the out instruction, 38 is the port address. If suppose accumulator value is 25, then after the execution the value 25 is moved to the address which is in the 38H. Let us continue with the timing diagram. What is the timing diagram? What is the need of timing diagram? Then how to draw the timing diagram for in instruction and out instruction. Timing diagram is nothing but it is a waveform representation. How to execute a single instruction with waveform. So, waveform is a continuous clock pulses. So, the time required to complete a one instruction, that is defined by the timing diagram. The timing diagram consists of the instruction cycle, machine cycle and T state. The instruction cycle is defined as the time required to complete the one instruction. It consists of number of machine cycles, minimum 1 machine cycle, maximum 6 machine cycles. So, this is a instruction cycle. The instruction cycle is divided as number of machine cycles. So, here it is shown as a 4 machine cycles. This is a machine cycle 1, machine cycle 2, machine cycle 3 and machine cycle 4. Each machine cycle is divided as number of T states, So, the instruction cycle consists of number of machine cycles, each machine cycle consists of number of T states. Machine cycle is defined as the time required to complete the one operations. The machine cycle is divided as number of T states, the minimum 3 T states to maximum 6 T states it will continue. T state is defined as one subdivision of the operations which is performed in the one clock period. The number of T states is called as a mission cycles, number of mission cycles are called as a instruction cycle. This period is used for synchronized with the internal system clock. So, one clock pulse is nothing but one off period and off period, on period and off period is used for. This is a instruction cycle diagram. This is a full instruction cycle. This is a 1 T state, 2 T state, 3 T state. This is a 1 mission cycle. So, in this example we are considering the 2 mission cycles. This is a mission cycle 1, this is a mission cycle 2. So, in the first mission cycle always consists 4 T states, second and third remaining mission cycles always having only the fixed T states which are 3. First mission cycle having a 3 T states which also called as a opcode mission cycle or fetch mission cycles. The second one is operand mission cycle or it also called as a execute cycle. Instructions are classified based on its length. It is classified as single byte instruction, 2 byte instruction and 3 byte instruction. In single byte instruction it consists only the opcode. In 2 byte instruction it consists of opcode plus operand. In 3 byte instruction it consists of a single opcode with 2 operands. So, opcode is nothing but a operational code. In the single byte instruction the example is move A comma B. It have only the opcode. So, the data from B is moved to the accumulator. The second example is add B. Add B means the B value is added to the accumulator and the result is stored in the accumulator. So, for this we are using only the opcode. XRAA is exclusive OR accumulator. So, exclusive OR accumulator means all the logical operations are performed only with the accumulator. So, the accumulator value is again exclusive OR with the accumulator. So, the same values will performing in the exclusive automatically it gives the 0 value. So, this XRAA instruction is used to clear the accumulator value. In 2 byte instruction we have a few example. So, MVI A comma 35H, MVI A represents opcode, MVI A represents the opcode, then 35 is the operand. So, from the opcode sheet we are collecting the data MVI A is the opcode, then 35 is the operand. So, the operand may be a address or data. In instruction is the opcode, 38 here it is the address. ADI 67 means add data immediately. So, add data immediately means the given immediate data 67 is added with the accumulator, then the result is stored in the accumulator. So, the ADI is the opcode, 67 is the data. In 3 byte instruction, one opcode with 2 operands. The one opcode is LDA, 4500 is the operand. The operand may be a address or data. So, in this LDA instruction this is the address. So, 4500 this is a lower order address, this is a higher order address. 00 is the lower order address, 45 is the higher order address. So, this is a single byte 1, 2, 3 byte instructions. In jump 4000H instruction which is used to jump or switch over to the specified locations. So, after executing this instruction it will switch over to the 4500. So, jump is the opcode, in 4000 this is the lower address, higher address. So, totally 3 byte instructions are used. This is the third example in 3 byte instruction LXI H comma 1234 H. So, LXI H is the opcode, 1234 is the data. So, based on the instructions it may be the data or address. So, this is the lower order data, this is the higher order data. So, these 3 are the 3 byte instructions. Before starting the timing diagram we have to know the length of the instructions, then only we can easily estimate how many mission cycles are required for each instruction. This is the in instruction. So, in instruction is used to read the data from the peripheral device. So, this in instruction mnemonic is in 45, in 56 is a mnemonics, its corresponding opcode is DB56. So, when we are typing the instruction we have to use the program counter or which also called as a starting address. So, in the starting address the DB value is stored in the 4500. So, its corresponding in opcode is DB. Then this is a 2 byte instruction. So, we need the 2 address lines 4500 and 4501. In 500 we are loading the opcode value which is DB. in 501 we are loading the port address which is 56. After that the internal operation is performed. How we are discussing? The specified address value is moved to the accumulator content. So, the address specified address is 56. So, it having some value, that value only moved to the accumulator. So, here we are considering that value as a 39. So, the in instruction is a 2 byte instruction. To execute the in instruction, it need the 3 mission cycles. In the first mission cycle is always opcode fetching mission cycles. Here the opcode value is dB. The second is a memory read operation is performed, that is the 56. The port address is read from the 00 to FFH. Then M3 is the IO read operations, which is the given value is read. So, whether the processor can be performed with the IO devices or with the memory devices. So, based on the IO memory bar signals we can identify, and also we have to know some of the status signals. So, this is status and control signals. IO memory bar signal, there are 2 status signals available in the 8085, S1 and S2. When these 2 signals are 0, that indicates the halt operation. When the signal is 0 1, it indicates the memory write. When the signal is 1 0, it indicates memory read. When the signal is 0 1 or 1 0, based on that either read or write operation is performed. When the signal is low, it indicates only the memory related operations. When the signal is high, it indicates the IO related operations. So, based on when the signal is high, based on S1 and S2, we will select either IO read or IO write operations. IO memory bar signal is 0, with both signals are high, that is the opcode fetch. This is a M1 cycle, always M1 cycles. When all signals are 1, this is a halt instruction. So, based on the status signals, we have to draw the timing diagram. This is the timing diagram for in instruction. First, we have to draw the number of T states T1, T2, T4. So, for in instruction, we need the 3 mission cycles, which are M1, M2, M3. M1 is opcode fetch, M2 is a memory read, M3 is IO read. The M1 having the 4 T states T1, T2, T3 and T4. M2 and M3 having only the 3 T states. So, first we have to draw the timing diagram. For that number of T states we have drawn, then we have to specify the address where to write or where to read the data. This is the in instruction. So, where to read the data, for that we need the port address. The port address can be specified either higher order address lines or lower order address lines. So, here the higher order address lines A8 to A15 can be given in the specified mission cycles. Here the AD0 to AD7 is multiplexed address and data lines. We could not use it directly. So, we have to demultiplex address lines and data lines separately, then only we can transfer the data. So, for that we are using the latch, which is octal latch. Octal means 8 bit latch we are using to demultiplex. So, the AD0 to AD7 are connected to the latch, then it will separate the address lines and data lines. So, to separate we have to use the ALE signal to enable the latch. After enabling the latch, it will give only the address lines, otherwise it acts as a data lines. So, the ALE signal is always high on the first T states of all mission cycles. For all mission cycles, this is a high. So, based on that it will enable the latch, then it will read the corresponding address. So, the corresponding lower order addresses are read after enabling the latch, remaining time it acts as a data lines. So, in the mission cycle the data line is act as a opcode, in mission 2 the port address is written, in mission 3 cycle the given value, the actual value is stored. This is a read bar signal. The read bar signal is always started part of T2 to part of T3. So, during this timing the read operation is performed. For all mission cycle it always part of T2 to part of T3 cycles. This is the control and status signals, whether which operations we are performing and also whether it performed with the memory or IO devices. Here we have seen in the table which is 0 1 1, that is IO memory bar signal is 0, S0 and S1 is 1. So, based on that it is a opcode fetch cycle. To read the memory read, IO memory bar should be 0, S0 is equal to 0, S1 also 1. For IO read operations, the IO/memory bar equal to 1, S0 is 0, S1 is 1. So, based on these status signals we can understand which operation is performed. This is IO instruction format. This is an example of IO instruction which is in 56. So, this example will be discussed in the next session. So, we will summarize what we have discussed. Before interfacing we have to know the processor concepts, what type of processor, what is the data lines, how many address lines it have. So, we have reviewed on the microprocessor, then how to interconnect with the peripheral devices, then what are the instructions are used for making the interfacing with the processor and IO devices, and why are the port address, what is the length of port address we have to know before interfacing. Then the timing diagram which is used to calculate the execution time. So, today we have discussed the concepts of microprocessor, then IO port addresses, then IO instructions along with the timing diagram. This is a small exercise for you based on the listening class, how you can able to attend the questions. Raju wants to store the value 30 into the processor. Can you help him think and say which instruction we are used for this? The second one is hotel manager wants to display price in the digital board. Can you suggest him to select which command used for transferring the processor to the display device? So, based on our discussion, can you define what is the processor capacity? Thank you.